Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your ultimate home for all things Liverpool. Big moves are brewing at Anfield. Alexander Isak is edging closer to a sensational switch to the Reds, while Darwin Nunez could be heading out the door. Plus, there's transfer drama with a $46 million Chelsea star and fresh updates on Federico Chiesa. Italy. Stay tuned, we're breaking down all the twists, talks, and transfer turns you need to know. Let's dive in, Reds family. Liverpool closing in on agreeing Alexander Isak transfer. Liverpool are now closing in on convincing Newcastle United to agree the transfer of Alexander Isak. The Reds have already had one bid rejected by Newcastle this summer for the services of the Swedish international. But that is not going to deter Liverpool from quelling their interest in Isac. Richard Hughes has identified him as his dream target for the summer window, and he knows he still has a good chance at bringing him to Anfield. Despite Newcastle's reluctance to allow Isac to leave, the Swede has made it clear that he sees his future elsewhere. More specifically, he sees his future at Liverpool. That strong desire in Isac's actions to train in Spain rather than in Newcastle's own facilities on Tyneside after missing their tour to Asia make his intentions clear and will force Newcastle's hands. It has already forced them to react. Newcastle's primary targets seem to be Benjamin Sesko and Jon Wissa. Both of them now look likely to end up at Newcastle, putting Liverpool within inches of being able to agree a deal for Isac. In the English media, Sesko's decision still seems up in the air. However, back in his homeland, Slovenian outlet Delo has claimed that Sesko has already agreed to join Newcastle. The only aspect that remains is the Magpies agreeing a deal with RB Leipzig. Although this appears to be quite close as well. Once Sesko signs, the doors will open for Liverpool to sign Isac. But there's still one condition to meet. Newcastle want to sign at least two strikers to replace Isac. The other striker in the club's sight is Wissa from Brentford. After losing their manager and several of their key players, Brentford have been reluctant to sell Wissa. However, it seems like their stance has changed. After Sky Sports reported that Wissa decided not to play in Brentford's friendly this weekend, TalkSport has now claimed that Brentford have changed their stance on their player leaving the club. They are now open to selling Wissa, which is another significant boost for Liverpool in this never-ending chain to secure Isac. Nonetheless, it seems like things are heading in the right direction. Liverpool are closer and closer in their dream to sign Isac. Right now it feels like a matter of when, not if. With Newcastle closing in on their targets, an agreement for Isac is just around the corner. Arne Slot and Virgil van Dijk had different views on Liverpool signing new $46 million Chelsea star. Liverpool was linked with a move for new Chelsea signing Jorel Ho earlier this year, but Arne Slot was apparently not convinced by the 19-year-old, leading to the Reds signing Milos Kerkez instead. While Liverpool's lavish transfer spend this summer has come as something of a surprise, the same cannot be said of Chelsea, which has embarked on another indulgent spree. Chelsea's acquisition of versatile young defender Jorel Ho, from Ajax, took their summer spend above the $300 million mark. For much of last season, it had looked as though Liverpool was Ho's most likely Premier League destination, but the Daily Mail recently reported that Arne Slot was not totally sold on the teenager, which is ultimately why the Reds signed Milos Kerkez. Ho can play at centre-back as well as left-back, but Slot felt as though Kerkez would be a better bet than the 19-year-old. Speaking in June, the Mail's Lewis Steele said, someone in the Netherlands told me that Virgil van Dijk absolutely raves about Jorel Ho, but Arne Slot wasn't as convinced, and that's why they've reached Kerkez as the number one left-back target. Ho was spotted at Anfield for a Liverpool game earlier this year, and the strong Dutch contingent in Slot's squad would have eased his transition to Merseyside, were he to have made the move to Liverpool. As it is, he has signed a 7-year contract at Stamford Bridge, and after doing so, he said that he felt the time was right to move to England after making over 100 appearances for Ajax since breaking into the first team during the 2022-23 season. It feels strange to leave everybody in Holland, of course, but for me it's a new journey with new people in a new culture, a new team, new competitions, Ho said. I was really thinking about my future and this is what I wanted. I think I will be a good fit for the way Chelsea are playing, so I was sure about taking my step to Chelsea. For sure it was a big decision. I played 7 years at Ajax and for me it was home, the people, the players, the coaches, the culture. So it was not easy to leave, but my feeling was that at this moment I needed to make a step to the biggest club in the biggest competitions, and for me this was the right decision at the right time. Federico Chiesa's future could become clearer after transfer request as Liverpool decision nears. Federico Chiesa sat out Liverpool's pre-season tour of the Far East due to a minor issue as speculation about his future continues. The majority of Arne Slot's squad should get a run out when Liverpool face Athletic Bilbao in their pre-season doubleheader at Anfield on Monday. The Reds are set to host the La Liga outfit in 2 clashes, kicking off at 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. respectively. Liverpool did similar last year against Sevilla and Las Palmas as Slot split his squad in 2 to ensure minutes for all senior stars, though the latter outing took place behind closed doors. In contrast, supporters will be present for both clashes with Bilbao. However, there are question marks hanging over the heads over a handful of players and their potential involvement ahead of Monday's matches. Alisson Becker and Joe Gomez both left Liverpool's tour of Asia prematurely, with the goalkeeper returning to Brazil for a personal matter. However, he was expected to link back up with his teammates following their return to the AXA training center. Meanwhile, Gomez returned home due to a minor Achilles injury. It was deemed that if he was not fit to feature in Asia then it was best to fly the defender back home to continue his treatment at the AXA training center, with it remaining to be seen if he will be fit to return against Bilbao. Elsewhere, Ben Doak missed Liverpool's friendly win over Yokohama due to a visa issue, and should be available again to face the La Liga outfit. However, he is one of a number of current Reds players who continue to be linked with a move away from the club. The likes of the Scotland international, Darwin Nunez and Harvey Elliott have been used throughout pre-season despite ongoing transfer speculation. In contrast, it was decided that Luis Diaz would not feature for the club while his own future remained uncertain, ahead of the Colombian signing for Bayern Munich in a £65.5 million deal. If there were to be any unexpected absences against Bilbao, it will only further fuel speculation about possible summer transfers. But the potential involvement of Federico Chiesa is perhaps one of the more intriguing transfer subplots ahead of Liverpool returning to action on home soil. The Italian registered a goal and an assist during the Reds' pre-season wins over Preston North End and Stoke City, but was then left out of the travelling squad for the trip to Asia only hours after scoring late on against the Potters. His absence was put down to a minor issue, but it inevitably led to further questions about the forward's future at Anfield after a first season on the fringes under Slot. Chiesa has previously admitted he would be open to a return to Serie A, while he will need to play more regularly if he is to earn an Italy recall ahead of the World Cup. Darwin Nunez's Liverpool exit edges closer in next stage of Red summer transfer plan. Darwin Nunez is heavily linked with the Liverpool exit door and the striker could find himself heading to Saudi Arabia with Al Hilal making the Uruguayan their top target. Al Hilal are ramping up their efforts to sign Liverpool's Darwin Nunez after identifying him as their priority target this summer. The Saudi side have eyed a number of strikers but have now landed on the Uruguayan. Nunez's exit has been expected this summer, although a number of routes out of Anfield have been closed off. His form has tailed off and, despite once being the Reds' record signing at £85 million, Arne Slot is ready to move the striker on with the Middle East now his likely landing spot. Back in January Liverpool turned down an offer from another Saudi side in Al Nassr, but Al Hilal have since come to the negotiating table and been told the conditions of the deal. The Athletic reports that no offer has been lodged, but the transfer moves have begun. Al Hilal, now led by former Inter Milan boss Simone Inzaghi, had pursued Victor Osimhen before he joined Galatasaray. Alexander Isak and Benjamin Sesko were on their radar but both men were considered to be beyond them. Nunez previously had a host of Europe's top sides eyeing his services following his breakout season with Benfica. At Liverpool though he struggled for consistency, scoring 40 times in 143 games. However last year he only found the net 7 times. Aleksandar Mitrovic has led the line for Al Hilal since leaving Fulham to join the Saudi outfit, but they are looking to raid the Premier League for more attacking reinforcements. Liverpool meanwhile have made adding more forwards a priority this summer, which has impacted on Nunes' standing at Anfield. Hugo Ekitike has been signed from Frankfurt for £79 million and will aid the likes of Mohamed Salah, Cody Gakpo and new signing Florian Wirtz. The Reds are now going after Isac, who has made it clear he wants to explore his options away from Newcastle. The Magpies have rejected an £110 million offer for the Swedish frontman, and Liverpool could return with a fresh offer if the striker does push harder for the exit door. Nunes' possible sale could help finance a renewed bid for Isac, with the club recently green-lighting the departure of Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich, which has banked the Reds £65.5 million. Darwin Nunez transfer plans emerge in fresh Alexander Isak Liverpool twist. Liverpool seems set to sell Darwin Nunez during this summer transfer window, should they receive a suitable offer for the striker amid Saudi Pro League interest. Al Hilal are said to have registered interest and accelerated plans internally over signing Darwin Nunez. Liverpool, though, have yet to receive a bid from the Saudi Pro League club this summer. Al Nassr previously wanted the striker during January, but the Reds turned down an offer from Saudi Arabia as they did not want to break up their squad midway through the season. Now, the team that finished 5 points ahead of them have reportedly identified Nunez as their priority. They have previously pursued new Galatasaray signing Victor Osimhen, while more recently considering Alexander Isak and Benjamin Sesko. Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, the Public Investment Fund, PIF, owns 75% of Al Ahly, Al Hilal, Al Ittihad and Al Nassr, plus 85% of Newcastle United. The Athletic now claims Al Hilal are stepping up their efforts for Nunez, who they add is thought to be receptive to the possibility. Milan are also credited with an interest but are deemed unlikely to match any financial package the Saudi club can afford. Napoli are another Serie A side to have shown interest. However, they ended that after making a bid that fell significantly short of the Reds' valuation, instead turning their attention to Lorenzo Luca. Liverpool would presumably want a fee similar to the £65.5 million Bayern Munich paid for Luis Diaz. Receiving around £60 million for the striker would allow them to bolster further offers for Isac after having a £110 million bid rejected by Newcastle on Friday. Al Hilal signing Nunez could also end their interest in the Sweden international, a deal which already appears unattainable for the Riyadh club. The Reds remain interested in Isac despite not immediately returning with an improved proposal, but the departure of Nunez, after already parting ways with Diaz, could facilitate any further outlay on a striker despite them already signing Hugo Ekitike.